right, so we're going to move on to our next inductee, and it is Coach Franke Bell, and we're going to introduce you to Coach Bell on a video, so take a look.
It is impossible to tell the story of swimming in North Carolina without recognizing Franke Bell. Bell, a Tar Heel graduate and native North Carolinian, started her coaching career in Richmond before establishing herself in Charlotte at the Johnston Memorial YMCA in the late 1950s, an era where a woman running any swim program was rare. Forced to become an innovator, Bell developed unique methods of reducing resistance, dry land training, even fashioning paddles out of plexiglass. It didn't take long for her underdog swimmers to become national and world champions. The coaching community caught on to Franke Bell, and she was offered lucrative opportunities to coach in the Olympics, Pan Am Games, and at a major university. Anyone would have understood if she'd accepted any or all of these jobs. But she turned them all down to remain in the Charlotte area. In 1991, Bell turned her energies to the Mecklenburg County Aquatic Center, where she guided her aquatic team of Mecklenburg for 25 years. She was named Coach of the Year in North Carolina so often, they named the award after her, and she was inducted into the North Carolina Swimming Hall of Fame in 1989. In addition to teaching her swimmers, such as Olympic gold medalist and the founder of SwimSwam, Mel Stewart, about techniques, how to improve in and out of the water, and of course how to win, Bell is known for her generosity, having also developed an outreach swim lesson program for immigrant children. Bell was the subject of a 2015 documentary called Bell's Angels, which showed how she pulled off her seemingly improbable journey. The American Swimming Coaches Association is proud to welcome to our Hall of Fame, Franke Bell.
Coach Bell unfortunately couldn't be with us tonight, but we do have representatives to introduce and accept on her behalf. So if Greg Armstrong and Paul Schaffel could come up to the stage to accept on her behalf. Thank you.
Hello, I am Greg Armstrong, and I am a product of Franke Bell. I've been coaching about 44 years, and she's been very instrumental in my life. And I'm right here today to introduce my friend and my brother, and our mother is Franke Bell, and his name is Paul Schaffel.
How's everybody doing this evening? First of all, I want to congratulate the other selections tonight and Harvey Humphreys, who I've known probably 40 years, and Chuck Warner also, who I've known for a long, long time. But we're here to talk to you about one of the pioneering female coaches in American swimming. And I had the great fortunate time to be able to swim for her. I was not one of her national qualifiers. I was not one of her state champions. I was one of her kids. And that, I believe, is why she stayed in Charlotte as long as she did. She started her program in North Charlotte with mill children from mill families at one of the mills in the North Charlotte area. And not having a lot of background in competitive swimming, she learned as she went. Using things like plexiglass cut, drilled with surgical tubing for paddles, doing dry land training with cans of beans, a lot of push-ups, a lot of sit-ups, a lot of pull-ups, and a lot of hard swimming in the pool. And I tell my athletes, you think you're crowded in a 7-foot lane with 2 other people, you should try swimming in a 6-foot lane with 9 guys bigger than you are. And so I think Greg can probably attest, we both still have the scars from that pool, from hitting the wall as we swam fly in long sets. She was and is a mom. I'm a product of a dysfunctional family, and she changed my life. I would not be standing on this stage today if it was not for her. Her direction, her support, her teaching, and everything that goes into her is why she is being recognized tonight. And as Greg said, we are both products of that, and we have been named her sons. We are both taking care of her currently in a nursing facility in Hickory, North Carolina. She celebrated her 90th birthday in April, and she had a rather severe stroke 5 years ago. And I'm here to tell you that there are a lot of things worse than death. And for a lady of her stature and position and her activity, it is a very hard struggle for her. And she misses all of her friends and all of her acquaintances that she helped to teach and coach through the years. Funny stories are always discussed as we go through. The year that we were training at Revolution Park in Charlotte, North Carolina, long course required about a 15-minute drive across downtown Charlotte to get back to the YMCA. And inevitably, there were 8 or 10 to 15 of us that needed a ride out to the Y. And one morning, we were all piled into her Pontiac convertible with the top down, 15 swimmers, and Frankie headed to our practice out North Davidson Street. And unfortunately, or fortunately, she was pulled over by one of Charlotte's finest. And he didn't give her her ticket, but he was rather strongly telling her that it really wasn't very safe for her to have that many children in the car. But then, too, he was really stopping her because she had 4 people in the front seat. And my recollection is that I was the smallest one in the front seat. And so therefore, I ended up in the back seat somewhere on the floor. Not really sure how I managed to survive that every day, 5 days a week. It's one of the funny stories. The funny stories of her 11 to 12-year-old boys mafia in a swimming meet that we took to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, to swim in a meet at the Hall of Fame pool. And the 11, 12 boys, being rather rambunctious, had gotten a hold of some sparklers, and they were on the 3rd floor of the Yankee Clipper Hotel, and they were trying to toss lit sparklers into a palm tree outside the hotel. And yes, they were successful, and yes, the fire department was called. So it's stories like that that draw us together a little bit and make us laugh. But I've never seen a woman work with a child and wrap that child around her finger the way Frankie Bell wraps a child around her finger. My daughter, who grew up swimming for me and swam through college, gravitated to Frankie immediately. And my 2 children call Frankie Granny Coach. My parents were not alive when my daughter was born. And Frankie would come to our house at Christmas, and we would wake up in the middle of the night, and we would hear Frankie and my daughter Melissa cackling in the bedroom, talking about Santa Claus coming and worshiping the ground that Frankie walked on. That was just brought right here for me. But as for me personally, the things that she did for me are just, I can't even hardly discuss it. And I think that the numbers of people that she's worked with in swimming lessons and in swim schools, even in the nursing home, when someone comes to see her, she's discussing stroke technique. She's discussing training. She's discussing developing that work ethic that pushed so many of us to achieve the things that we've been able to achieve today. So it is with major pride, it is with a major heartwarming thank you that I am here to accept this award for Frankie Bell. And I'm so grateful of the video that's being made that we can take back to her and show her just how much she was able to accomplish during her 60-plus years of coaching, I think, and in that one area for all of those years. So again, I thank the American Swimming Coaches Association for giving Greg and I this opportunity. We're more than willing to spread more stories about her if you want to hear about them. But we are both living examples of what Franke Bell was able to accomplish in her swimming career. Thank you very much.
My hand.
Okay, let's stand over here.
No, come over here.